Najuma. She still maintains her name. And let's see how Uncle Bob is doing this morning. Uncle Bob, good morning.
A lovely morning to you. How are you, our viewers? Thank you so much for waking up with us. Now it's Friday. Automatically, that means you're going to have some good time with family. That means because the weekend is coming in, some good time with friends. And of course, for many, you're going to have time to go to your farm, depending on how you use your weekends. But Friday for us, we usher you into the weekend. No matter how the first 4 days were, you know, sometimes it's good to find joy in the midst of everything that is going around you. Because I've learned that wherever you find a reason to smile and be happy, you find that these are people who don't have certain diseases, you know. You're not alone in whatever you're going through. So get up, arise. Let's enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Uncle Bob. Olive Monica Najuma, good morning.
Well, good morning, Chantal. How are you today?
I am very well. How are you feeling? You look lovely. I wish I could get a wider shot. Unfortunately, I can't. You look lovely this morning.
Because the shoes.
Because everything. I'm just wondering if I can tag along. Just
Need
you
such
know.
shoes.
You look like a great. Robert
like
needs
what?
such shoes.
That would greatly help me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the shoes we're talking about.
Chirabo is almost thankful I'm not standing next to him because today I am Chantal's height.
But of late, I see men put on so many things that women do. They say it's fashion. There's some trousers they put on, like, is this? Then there's some T-shirts, they're like blouses. There are some. So why not me, the president of the Short Men and Association?
And you're saying that with a low tone. What's up?
No, I'm very proud of my height.
Chirabo, be proud of yourself.
I'm very proud of my
Now
height,
or forever
and I'm
hold
the
your peace.
president of Uganda Short Men's Association.
All right.
You know, if I talked right now, I would really be seen as I'll be put on the other side that I don't want to be. So I'll maintain my silence. I'm not going to say much about what you've just said. I will not. Olive Monica, how's your morning?
I am great, and I'm happy to be here. This is the Friday special, and right here we tone it down every Friday, but still we keep it perfect by giving you the insights that we usually give you every single morning, but of course with entertainment. So please stay with us because you are in for a great ride.
Jerome Paulson, JP Live.
Apostle.
Apostle, you said?
Apostle.
Yes, Chantal, how are you doing this morning?
I am very well. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling well, I should say.
No, let's run that again.
I'm
How are
feeling
you
well.
feeling this morning?
I'm feeling well. I'm feeling well. I'm looking at the weekend as something that has already started now, since it is already Friday. Though I've come to realize that most of, the Kampala, or what I could actually say, the people settled in Kampala today don't seem like they were ready to kickstart off the day.
Why?
I think it is because of the rains. The roads have not been so much busy, but the nature of the roads in Kampala is still also alarming. But nonetheless, the weekend is just ahead of us, and it does look very much so. If you're to look at how promising it is, it does promise to be a weekend filled up with massive vibes and good energy. So
If you dare
all the
to
viewers
pass,
this morning.
if you dare to pass via Acacia Avenue, Acacia Place, I believe you would have a different statement in that regard. That place you'll find you'll find some good jam, even when the traffic lights are working. There is no
Traffic
my
jam
friend.
at 5 a.m.
Yes, we have representatives of the Weekend
As
Lovers
early as Monday.
Association. Yes, you'll find them there.
They represent us on Monday for
All
the
week,
weekend.
literally.
Interesting.
No wonder we are ranking well when it comes to countries that really drink a lot of alcohol.
You didn't just say ranking
That's
well.
ranking
No, we are
well.
ranking well because we are number one in Africa, fifth in the entire world, and you see, We have indexes where are ranking very poor. For example, on issues of corruption. We are not even
Fighting corruption.
Fighting corruption.
But
We are not
you
even,
see also,
but
a
now
new
here,
report shows that 1.2 million Ugandans are struggling with alcoholic disorder. That should be very
automatic.
concerning.
because
It
if you have
should be
people who are
concerning, well-
drinking so much, let me tell you, there must be those that are experiencing the side effects. But then I was watching some analyst on this report on a certain TV station, and he said, when a nation people are drinking so much, that is a sign of poverty. Now I saw like it's a mismatch, because if people are so poor, then how would come that these very poor people are again leading in drinking alcohol, which is not just given?
But you see, when you talk
remember the
about alcohol,
yeah, the type of
Robert,
alcohol now is what matters. The
also-
biggest
yes.
percentage of people who drink actually drink what I would call cheap alcohol.
and that cheap alcohol that is not even legally recognized in the country, like some types of crude waraji that you'll find people consuming in some parts of the country. So having access to a certain type of alcohol doesn't really mean that people have the money. It is just that it is there, readily available.
And also you get to realize even in Kampala here, most of the drinkers or the people who actually buy alcohol, some of them also afford the cheaper beers. Now those who can afford the more expensive beers tend to buy for the ones who can't afford. So it's like, let's say the low income earners will go to bars. You know, in the Luganda dialect, there is a way people say it, okuwo ruseke. You just go in there, or you're just praising the rich man. The more you praise it, the more he darkens the table. So you get to realize the rich men have the money to buy alcohol for others, but in most cases they don't even drink so much. So I think that is why he was saying that people are poor, but their drinking habits are up there. So people, you can find someone only has 10,000, they go to a good high-end bar, but not because they are going to buy alcohol, but because they do have a rich man they know who is definitely going to disorganize.
And needs company throughout the night.
So for him, he just wants us to feel stress-free. But then for them, since they have their own issues and problems, he is the man who is going to wash them away by giving them liquor. So I think that is what is happening in today's Kampala. And
By
it's
the way, that
pretty
free
much
booze
the
is
same
very
thing, yes.
dangerous.
Because when you look at the people who normally go to bars, most of them, the people who drink a lot are people who don't work or who have very free jobs.
And
whereby
also-
they're not supposed to be there as early as possible. But for those who are supposed to be at work as earlier, some of them leave early, or others actually don't even go if
And-
it's weekdays.
It is said that a Ugandan takes on average 12.2 liters of alcohol, and men are the heavier users. But also to add to what Sonko was saying, you may think that people are consuming alcohol only in, bars, but people are buying alcohol to consume at home. People are even smuggling alcohol into places of work. But also going back to the mostly poverty-stricken areas in the country, you're going to find the most alcohol abuse in these areas because they have access to that alcohol that is not even recognized by Uganda Bureau of Standards.
Now, that's the unfortunate bit, because if we are talking about alcohol use and Uganda being, top and something like that, you realize that I wish we were top in doing something better than drinking alcohol. But away from that, let's get off the alcohol talk and get into what is happening on the local scene. We do have some local stories and international stories. Then later on, we'll be having a conversation with Wanda JR on mental health, especially with the youth. Also, we do have a band that is going to be playing for us, so make sure that you stick around for the entertainment. We also do have movie recommendations. The show gets better every single moment, so please do stay with us for now. Let's take a look at what is happening on the local scene.
And let's begin with President Museveni speaking to young scientists, urging them to ensure that they carry on with good work. President Museveni called upon young scientists to join forces with the National Resistance Movement government to fight against people who have made it a tendency to block free education for all in government schools. The president, who is also the commander-in-chief of Uganda People's Defense Forces, made the remarks at State House Entebbe while delivering a lecture of opportunity to 19 young scientists who have been undergoing a 2-month training at Sere Kasenyi Training School.
Moving on, the Ministry of Education and Sports is set to acquire a new home in Chambogo at a contract sum of 61.9 billion shillings under the Business Technical Vocational Education Training Support Project funded by the Islamic Development Bank and the government of Uganda. During the groundbreaking ceremony, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni, expressed hope that the new headquarters would improve coordination among departments and enhance efficiency.
And moving on, the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority has unveiled plans to relocate residents living near Entebbe International Airport to facilitate the airport's expansion and upgrade, essential for meeting international standards. This announcement was made by the Director General during an inspection by the Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure, where they commended their work for doing commendable work. The Parliament of Uganda has expressed its full commitment and support for the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority's effort to acquire more land required for the airport's expansion as it prepares to welcome new airlines.
In more news, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro, has called upon the general public to fully understand the ongoing institutional reforms and mergers, especially for the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, UBTEB, and the Directorate of Industrial Training, DIT. Lamaro, while officiating at the UBTEB feedback meeting on the conduct of the July-August 2023 Business and Technical Examinations, clarified the roles of the two institutions. UBTEB Executive Secretary Onesmus Oyesije says the examination body is strengthening modular assessment as a way of answering the presidential call for skilling Ugandan youths for job creation.
That is it for the local news. And internationally, former Chinese premier, that is Li Keqiang, has died at 68, state media has reported. He was the second most powerful man in the ruling Chinese Communist Party until he retired last year. Now, state media said he had been resting in Shanghai when he suffered a sudden heart attack on Thursday. He passed away 10 minutes past midnight on Friday, despite all efforts to revive him, state broadcaster said. Li rose through the party ranks despite not having any power base, and at one point he was even pegged for the top role of president. A trained economist, he was initially given the reins of China's economy, but analysts said he became increasing sidelined towards the end of his career as Chinese President Xi Jinping gathered power around himself. In his final term, he became the only incumbent top official who did not belong to the President Xi's political to belong to President Xi's royalist group. And away from that, Mohammed Hussein has been glued to the television in recent weeks, watching Gaza's destruction of Israeli air raids, and when an Israeli air raid killed the family of Al Jazeera Gaza bureau chief Wael Dadou on Wednesday, Hussein watched the story unfold. It is a crime, the 45-year-old taxi driver said. He left his left hand fiddling with prayer beads as he sat on a busy throughway in Beirut, and a violation of human rights. On Wednesday, the news broke that Dadou's family was killed in an attack in southern Gaza. His family had fled northern Gaza to the south on Israel's advice, but were killed anyway. Dadou lost his wife, a daughter, a grandson, and a 15-year-old son who wanted to follow in his footsteps into journalism. They are among the more than 7,000 people killed, 3,000 of whom are children in Gaza since the start of the hostilities. And in South Sudan, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces has seized the control of Sudan's second largest city, Nyala, from the army after months of fighting, several sources have reported. One eyewitness said residents were celebrating because they hoped it meant an end to the violence. The fighting has forced more than 670,000 people to flee their homes. The city's hospitals have been destroyed and bodies are said to be lining the streets. The major advance for the RSF comes as the two warring sides were set to resume peace talks in Saudi Arabia. The army hasn't commented on its defeat in Nyala. Nyala, capital of South Darfur State, is a strategic city connecting Sudan with Central African Republic. And speaking matters climate, humanity is on course to transgress multiple global tipping points that could lead to irreversible instability or the complete collapse of ecological and institutional systems, a United Nations report warned on Wednesday this week. The third annual Interconnected Disaster Risks Report from the UN University's Institute for Environment and Human Security in Bonn, Germany, found that drastic changes will occur if urgent actions are not taken around 6 moments when sociological systems are no longer able to buffer risks. The tipping points include several issues that California is confronting head-on: groundwater depletion, rising insurance costs, extreme heat, and species extinction. The other threats are melting glaciers and space debris. According to UN officials, when one system tips, other systems may also be pushed over the edge. That is it for international news and also climate news. Let's take a look at what is happening in the dailies, that is locally and in terms of the East African region.
Well, starting with the local news, the New Vision highlights the Magara case. Magara's auntie says, "I met Magara kidnappers," as police is to table post-mortem report in court on Monday. The New Vision is highlighting the same. Now, furthermore, President today, Uganda starts production of new diabetes drugs. Read about that in the New Vision. Nkumba seeks government support for hospital construction. A pictorial of some of the graduates yesterday at Nkumba's graduation, which also included the Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Transport as well. Besides that, in the other series from the Israel and Palestine war, a state built on bloodshed, series rotating around Israel. Daily, that is the New Vision. Now, moving forward to the Daily Monitor, Varsity's first probe over sale of marks. And in between the lines, Education Ministry joins Vice Chancellor's Forum in demanding for a wider inquiry into these allegations that varsities sell marks to university students. Now, besides the same, Own Home, Janet commissions works for Ministry of Education offices. Is a pictorial of that at the front page of the Daily Monitor today. In the Scoop magazine, taking music to the deaf. Read about how the deaf are being included into music conversations. Then furthermore, city pastor dies during battle with evil spirits. Read about that one in the Daily Monitor as the national media group Indian Envoy discussed partnership. And the other regional news, Amen verifies land titles on Masaka airstrip as why the eastern region has lagged behind in tourism. It's also another report to read about in the Daily Monitor. Crossing over to Kenya now with the Daily Nation. The question is this the end of free secondary education? School learners and institutions have only been paying for their lunch meals, but it does seem like the new school fees will definitely be hiked in Kenya. Now, Kawira walks a tight stroke in Senate. Read more about the same as President Ruto cuts his travel budget by 500 million shillings. Read about the same in the Daily Nation. Also, Sainthood Church asks faithful to list Nyatha's miracles, as in the mini budget, varsity students big win as 29.31 Kenyan shillings, 29.31 billion Kenyan shillings set aside for scholarships. Now, lastly, from our press review, we head to Tanzania with the Citizen. China is not cause of Africa's debt distress is the bigger headline on the Citizen's front page. As also, there is a story about how Mwalimu's legacy turned into a tourist attraction, a story about how he visited Tanzania's museum, Now, also in the Beat magazine, Comedy King, Ticking Souls, one laugh at a time. Read about the TikToker who is making rounds in Kenya, but this time round making the headlines in Tanzania as well. Now, Zanzibar tourist arrivals cross 1 million as we're heading into the festive season. Now, also, Chinese envoy upbeat on BRI's potential to boost trade, as you can as well look at how tech has transformed the higher education system operations in Tanzania. Well, that is it for our press review this morning.
Thank you. Oh, well, when you are delivering the press review, Robert and I can assure you we're dying of laughter. So this man of God died. It's not funny that he died, but the reason, the cause of death, I think, is what I find interesting.
You know,
It's the same reason as why Robert was really smiling after.
yesterday I said that many people call themselves, and it's not the Lord who has called them. Now, you mess up with these things. You're going for battle, you're not armed enough.
He's not armed enough, right?
Because when you're going to burn and destroy, you know, when people get born again, some have this African, you know, worship, all that. So they bring them and you burn them. But not every Tom, Dick, and if you came into this to make money, now you want to go to that level. These spirits will overcome you. If you aren't called by God, know what you do, preach prosperity, buy your cars, do what? But
Don't cross that line.
don't cross that line of saying, bring them. These also have power. Now you are weakling. It's like Chirabo saying, I'm going. It's like Chirabo saying, I'm going to fight Gorora.
You know, those ones are men
I'll
of
be
God,
beaten
not
instead.
men of God.
So, men of
Those are men
Men of God, yeah, men of God.
that is
not men of
that's
God.
why I had to laugh, because people have been able to fool around in many aspects of mostly the born again
Fraternity,
faith, because everyone thinks I'm a pastor, I'm anointed.
Men are good.
It is God to anoint you. If you anointed yourself, you called yourself.
Don't dare. Says
Look for
Uncle
money
Bob.
elsewhere.
Says Uncle Bob. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special. Let's get into a very short break. When we come back, we are going to be speaking matters mental health, especially when it comes to the youth. We do have a guest that we're going to be discussing with. And of course, later, like I said, we have a band that is going to be entertaining us and ushering us further into the weekend. So make sure that you stay with us.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial star 100 star 0 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 4 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 0 hash to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
The program lineup on UBC.
Good morning, Uganda, on UBC Television, and if you're just joining in, well, you have done the right thing, because guess what? We are getting ushered into the weekend. I do have Bonique with me in studio and also Colin on the keys. So I'm going to be finding out how they're feeling this morning and what they're going to be doing for us. Then I'll let you enjoy the start of the weekend. Good morning, Bonique.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this Friday morning?
Feeling fresh.
Oh, great. He's feeling fresh. Well, so before I let you do what you're going to do, what are you going to be doing for us this morning?
I'm going to be singing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an artist. Under 18 Nile Avenue with my brother here.
Okay.
I'm part of Cajon Music as well. So Cajon is a collective of artists.
Right.
And we are here to share our good music with Uganda.
Great. So let me not take so much of your time and let you take us to places that you can take us with your music.
Pardon?
Please.
Okay. Yeah. Listen. Yeah. Oh, nah, listen. Because I dream bigger doesn't make me a gold digger. My taste just goes sweeter until $50. See, my mama got sicker every day to my promise. She tired of this story. The city is tough, I'm sorry, but if I get the money, I go come. Yeah, to the village I go come. Yeah, you gonna throw a party if you want, mama, yeah. Cause if I get the money, I'm the man. Na ye chika, jempulira muli chika, muchibuga mwendi chika, munsao yange chika, chika, jempulira muli chika, muchibuga mwendi chika, munsao yange chika, we work hard and smart, feed money. Newcomers, just comers, I want you, but if I get the money, I go come. To the village, I go come, mama, yeah. Cause mama, yeah, naye chika chempulira muli chika mukibuga mwendi chika munsawo yange chika chempulira muli chika mukibuga mwendi chika munsawo yange chika oh na re yeah ooh re mama yeah listen see my drunk uncle keeps telling people I could come back riding a limo with a beer truck straight from the depot, so people are waiting for me, cause if I get the money I go come to the village, I go come. Yeah. You gonna throw a party if you want, mama. Cause if I get the money, I'm the man. Naye chika, chempulira muli, mukibuga mwendi, munsawo yange. Chika, that's chika. For those who don't know Luganda, chika means it's tough. So it's a story about a guy who came to Kampala to hustle. So back in the village, people are waiting for him to come. You know, when you come to Kampala, people expect you to be, yeah. So the next song is called How We Grow. Yeah. Listen now. Yeah. Listen now. Yeah. Oh, my love, my girl, don't you see what beautiful? Yeah. Oh, girl, you see what beautiful. Now you are blessed as well. Oh. Girl, no order, no fall up, come closer. Ziki lover, you be easy now. No order, no fall up, come closer. Yeah. Ziki lover, you be easy now. Girl, tetukuba nebakuba, tuvuganga adungu. Girl, that's how we grow. Tetukuba nebakuba, tuvuganga adungu. Girl, that's how we grow. How we grow. That's how we grow. How we grow. That's how we grow. Yeah. My girl, stay down. Time for hearts to beat musical. Yeah. See, oh we are you, girl, we are musical. Now you are blessed as well. Oh. See, no order, no fall up, come closer. Ziki lover, you be easy now. No order, no fall up, come closer, yeah. Ziki lover, you be easy now, girl. Tetukuba nebakuba, tuvuganga adungu, girl. That's how we grow. Tetukuba nebakuba, tuvuganga adungu, girl. That's how we grow. How we grow. That's how we grow. Yeah. How we grow. That's how we grow.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial star 100 star 0 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 4 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 0 hash to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
We are running the program of parish development model. That is a model, a strategy that is supposed to enhance wealth creation by engaging 39% of the population that is not into the money economy. So far as a district, we have 56 parish development circles, and they have accessed funds. Last year we received about 560 million shillings, of which we have disbursed that money to them, and each beneficiary receives a maximum of 1 million shillings. Those PDM circles are into 56 parishes across the district, and so far we have no complaint about the disbursements and the receiving of the funds, which I think is a very positive note, because people have been talking about funds not being received elsewhere, but for Bushenyi, all those who have applied for the funds have received it, especially the revolving fund.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning to you. Once again, you're watching UBC, and you are very welcome to the show. It's Good Morning Uganda, but this is the Friday special. We get it done, but it doesn't stop us from speaking matters of national importance. So if you're just joining us, I can assure you, you are still watching the same exact show. Just a little bit of changes in outfits and also a little bit of changes in how the running order is, just putting in a bit of entertainment for you. That is what we do every single Friday. But if you get to catch the show Monday to Friday, I don't know if you're like me and you look forward to the Friday when we're getting into the weekend. Well, this particular morning, we are going to be discussing matters mental health, and especially linking this to the youth or with the youth, because according to statistics, just just a little bit of broad statistics. 46% of the population in Uganda, this is a 2023 report, is living with depression disorders, while 2.9% are struggling with anxiety disorders. Now, also, when you talk about, when you try to compare the male and the female in terms of who is affected more, well, it is reported that mental health issues are significantly higher in the females compared to the males. Now, when you talk about the females, it is accounting to 29.7%, and for the males, we are looking at about 23.1%. Now, please do note that we are not saying one side is, you know, better than the other or something, but the ones that are affected most. And well, we're going to be diving into this discussion this morning, and we're going to be exploring some of the causes. And then, of course, we're looking forward to hearing from you what you have to share in terms of solutions that can be put in place. The poll question is already up on our X app, and we are saying what measures should be put in place to address the increasing cases of mental health challenges among the youth. And the WhatsApp number is 0709602592. But also you can check us out on the X app, leave a comment, and we'll be able to get into that discussion with you. We are looking forward to hearing from you in that very, in that very same spirit. So please do get in touch with us. Leave a name. Do not call on that WhatsApp number. Strictly, it is for WhatsApp. Let us know what you think and what can be done, because when you're talking about mental health among the youth, some don't even recognize that they are having mental health issues. But first, let's take a look at what could be the causes of mental health issues when it comes to the youth. With me on set, I do have Olive Monica Najuma. I also do have JP Live, and we're going to be having that discussion. And so I would like to know what could be the causes. Over to you, Olive. What could be the causes of mental health challenges among the youth?
Well, Chantal, mental health is a deep conversation. Actually, it is surprising that when you mention mental health among the youth, it is said that depression among secondary school adolescents in Uganda is at 21% and anxiety is at 26%. Now, taking in those numbers, why are the youth depressed? The other day when we were having a conversation, Chantal said that most parents think that the youth do not get depressed. And actually, speaking up to mental health professionals, or even reading more about mental health, you realize that there is a lot of reason for the youth to actually be depressed. Now, for instance, a case in point, why would a secondary school student be depressed? And you will find that they have anxiety regarding things like examinations. Do you know that many people fear examinations?
Yes, they do a lot.
Yes, and worry about these examinations. And only that, like the upcoming examinations, for instance, right now, senior 4 candidates are sitting their examinations, and senior 6 candidates will be starting theirs, and P7 pupils will be doing theirs at the beginning of November. But you'll find that these examinations actually may be lack of preparation, maybe just the fear of the outcome of the examinations can actually drive someone into some bit of depression when they are not really sure, am I going to pass? And if they're coming from families that are, lacking when it comes to money, that is also going to be a challenge. Am I going to be able to sit my exams? Where is my education going? But also there are other factors like childhood abuse, depending on where this person grew up from and the kind of trauma they have had to go through when at the hands of the people that raised them. They normally tell us as adults that most of the challenges we face, mental health challenges that we are grappling with as adults, are rooted in our childhood.
And that is very true.
Yes, so normally we are told, let's say you're depressed, and when you talk to a mental health expert, they are going to first ask you about your childhood. What did you experience when you were young? What things did you go through when you were young? I'll give you an example. Many girls, yesterday I was having a conversation with a young woman, and it saddened me when she said, you know, in African homes, especially when you're growing up with extended family, you're going to go through things like sexual abuse, and research says that many young women are raped or molested by people that they know. So you go through something like that as a young woman, and later on you're suffering with issues of mental health. But this is rooted in the things that you went through as a young person. And of course there is neglect. Many children today feel neglected because you see how the economy is designed. Parents are mostly out there trying to work and make ends meet. Unfortunately, as we do this as parents, our children are feeling neglected. Our children feel like we prioritize our jobs over them. And in as much as we may not be doing that, the children do not understand it that way. For instance, you have a job, like for us here on Good Morning Uganda, you're supposed to be on set. The show starts at 6:30 in the morning, so that means wherever you stay, probably you left at 5 in the morning. If you have children, most likely you left them sleeping. And probably you have, maybe you work till late, so you go home when they're sleeping. Before you know it, a week has ended and you have not really found quality time with your children. Now, if this continues for quite some time, your children are not going to bond with you. You're going to be literally strangers that live under the same roof. And later on, these are some of the factors that are going to lead to their depression, to their anxiety, to their, sometimes the people we've lived with, maybe we live them with, mistreat them, and later on they're going to be dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder.
And you know, still speaking about the same, earlier this week, I was reading about trauma. I learned something very interesting, the different types or kinds of trauma. And if I mention these ones, you will realize that they literally stem from childhood. Talk about rejection trauma. Yeah. Talk about abandonment trauma. Talk about betrayal trauma. And talk about injustice trauma. Now, there is one thing I've noticed with the most kids that, especially school-going kids, that are suffering with mental health challenges. These kids, have one big thing in common. They have what we call betrayal trauma. Now, how does betrayal trauma come about, especially in childhood? You have these expectations of your parent, and you think that is what a parent should be. And when they don't become that, you feel betrayed as a child, and everything starts from there. A kid starts to feel neglected, starts to feel rejected, abandoned, and before you know it, this kid is actually a mess. Before we proceed, Sonko, we are still talking about the different causes of mental health challenges among the youth. What do you think could be some of those that we could put forward?
I'll start by talking about the anxiety issues. I also had some of the same issues. I would say earlier this year, and this is one of the key, drivers, the depression that the young people are facing. Because in the context of our kind of discussion today, we're entirely looking at the young people, may as well be even mature people who are going through these matters. But then there is that issue of neglect. The neglect part is something that is that goes way beyond the situation. At times, people, when you look at society. Even when you go in certain schools, you will find a young person, or let's say a young child, isolating themselves away from a certain group. Those are some of the signs at times that prove to you that there is something wrong. Though again, there are people who are actually having issues, but trying to fit into society in order to fight all these mental health ideas. But the neglect comes or stems right from society, or even from home. There are times whereby, like you've mentioned, given an example about how children, battle with mental health at a very young age, whereby a child who's 4 years, let's say, goes to school and then realizes that her age mates or his age mates are able to actually have certain things of their age, and she also admires to have the same. Now, once you start when you look at how a young child, obviously, the brain of a young child, how it actually rotates or works, she'll definitely go back home to her guardian or to the parent to ask for the same. It will be like, "Mommy, Daddy, can you buy me this?" regardless of whether they need it or not,
Or
but
not,
because they've seen it with their children, with
Right.
their colleagues at school.
Right.
So once a parent fails to actually buy it for them, they feel like they're not loved enough, or their parents have failed them, you know, as children. Now in that situation, they become, you know, they start becoming way emotional, and they start feeling like they're neglected by their parents, or their parents aren't doing enough to make them feel loved, just like their colleagues are being treated at their own homes. So once this starts stemming up, this is a child who starts feeling less privileged in society. And in most cases, once you come from home, now if we are to start talking about the childhood traumas, you start to realize that this child either way feels that the parents don't love him or her enough to actually afford the life she wants to have at a very young age. So the more they grow up, the more they start feeling unsafe, or the more they start feeling unsatisfied with what they feel is supposed to be given to them. So in the long run, they start getting worried about things they would have actually passed through, because you start competing or comparing yourself. And at times, one of the biggest killers of joy is comparison.
Right.
And even amongst the young people currently, I was on the X app earlier this week, and someone tweeted and said that there is a very huge growing challenge among the young people lately, is that when you go into the apartments of the young people, most of them tend to buy things not because they need them, but because they want to show to their friends that they have such things. So these are some of the issues of mental health, and we rarely understand them. So because the example they actually used, this guy was saying, you may find someone having a 43-inch television, which they do not even watch. And then you find them having all this furniture, but in their mind, they did not intend to buy it. But because they have friends who they want to impress at the time. So in the long run, if it fails to work out, you know, they end up trying to prove a point all the time. And you get to realize that at times these are things that stem right from, you know, from childhood, whereby they didn't get the chance to express themselves fully. So that means they feel like they always have to prove a point. And such cases are also related to mental health issues, though we don't even pay a lot of attention to them. That is why in most cases the young people also feel depressed in the long run after buying things that are not important to them, and now they start asking themselves questions. Now, why did I buy this?
No, I also think the whole buying things that are not important to you is a coping mechanism.
Right.
Sometimes people think that if I buy this, it will make me, you know, feel good. I will give you an example. A friend of mine went through a heartbreak, and when that happened, he decided to buy himself this very expensive car, a very nice apartment, but he said this made me happy for just maybe 3 days, and then the pain came back.
Yes.
So sometimes people don't know how to cope. They think if I take alcohol, if I buy these things, if I take this trip, I'll be okay. But you're not dealing with the root cause of the problem. But also to add to some of the causes of mental health challenges or disorders among the youth are things as simple as changing a school.
Yes.
So you're a parent and you suddenly make the decision to change your child's school. Probably the funds are not tallying and you're like, you know what, we are going to take you from this school to another school. But in most cases, parents do not go down to first have this conversation and prepare this child for the change.
Right.
They just pull you out. Now, you had a community, you had friends, and suddenly they are gone. Even when you're just changing neighborhoods, you could have lived in this neighborhood for quite some time and your young children have friends. Now you take them to an environment where they don't even have playmates, or they don't have people to talk to their age mates. Maybe your children are preteens or teenagers, and suddenly you have put them in this environment where they have no one to socialize with them, and now they are going to be lonely.
Right.
And when they are lonely, they are going to go on social media. And when they go on social media, they're going to start comparing themselves
what they see
to, yes. And we know that social media is one of the key drivers of mental health challenges among the youth, because like Songo put it, they are always comparing themselves to each other.
Right.
But also loss of a loved one. I remember as a young person, I lost my mom at a very young age. And in Africa here, we unfortunately in most cases don't know how to
cope with grief.
Cope with grief or help people that are going through grief.
Right.
Someone will tell you, you will get used to the pain. It gets easier. How does it get easier? Maybe this person has lost a mom. Maybe this person has lost a father. So, and sometimes these children are very attached to the parent that has passed or the guardian. And now they are gone and no one is there to help them go through this pain. So this pain now, you'll find that a girl that was bubbly or a boy that was social becoming a recluse. They are no longer socializing because of this pain that was now mishandled, and going forward in life, they now become loners. But probably they were
They're
not
not
loners
supposed to be
before.
loners. Yes, I was actually going to say, do we agree that mental health issues actually, we don't pay enough attention to them, and they're very hard to recognize. It's very hard to recognize that someone is depressed, or even you yourself. It's very hard to know that what you're dealing with is a mental health challenge. Someone out there does not even know the signs of depression, does not know the signs of anxiety, and just the feeling they're getting is making them even more anxious because they don't know what it is. And at the end of the day, the cycle continues. Now, how do we get to recognize that what I am dealing with right now is a sign of a mental health challenge? Could be depression, could be anxiety, could be stress, and all these other components we can talk about. How do I recognize that I am having a mental health challenge at the moment?
Now, for depression, you could actually know if you go away from the norm. What do I mean? For instance, something as simple as brushing your teeth. You wake up in the morning, you know I have to make my bed, brush my teeth, take a shower, and then this one day you wake up, you don't feel like getting out of the bed to begin with, and then maybe you don't want to do the things that are usually routine, like things that just happen without even thinking. You don't want to take a shower, you do not want to brush your teeth. Some people we all love food, but there are people who really love their food. But this one day, you don't have the appetite, you're not sick like physically, but you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like doing anything or any of the things that you usually like to do. That in most cases can be a sign. And then your spirits are low, like nothing, and like maybe you love music, or you love movies, or you love reading, or you love to be on social media, but none of that now makes you feel any good at all. Like you just feel sad, and even more sad. You could even go to social media, let's say X app or Facebook or Instagram, and even feel sadder than you were before. Now that could be a sign that you're going through depression, that you're going through a mental challenge, and also not getting things done. You know, you go to work, you're supposed to do A, B, C, D, but you just can't find yourself doing anything. Maybe you're in school and you just can't find yourself concentrating on your school, doing your school projects. You know you have to do it, but for some reason, and you're not just being lazy, your mind can't get past a certain point to start working on your project. And of course, withdrawing from close friends and family, this is one of the biggest.
Right.
Suddenly you do not want to go out. By out, I'm not even meaning going out to party, but you don't want, like Chantal calls and you're like, I don't feel like picking this call. Your phone rings and you even feel like angry. Why is this person calling me? But they didn't do anything to you, but you're just not in a good place to even talk to them. You don't want to see people. You would rather stay indoors. That and more is one of the ways you can actually figure that you're going through depression or a mental health challenge, and of course depending on substances like alcohol.
Right.
So you maybe are going through something, and instead of dealing with it head on, you decide to take alcohol. You remember when we were in primary school, they used to ask us, what are some of, why do people take alcohol? To forget their problems.
Oh, yes.
Used to be one of the answers, yes. But it is quite a big challenge because people hide behind alcohol. But remember when we had a conversation with Bill Bekunda, a mental health expert. He said alcohol actually exacerbates the situation in the sense that it is actually going to make you more depressed
because
in the long run.
No, live alone in the long run, alcohol itself has the ability, even you who is not, yes, it depresses the body. Now imagine your body gets more depressed. Sonko, we are running out of time. Briefly, what solutions can we put in place to to help when it comes to mental health challenges, especially with the youth? How do we curb this? How do we work it out?
Well, there's this element of understanding your priorities as an individual. I've seen a couple of my age mates, or let's say the youth in general, who don't have the rightful priorities of what they need, what they want, and how they're supposed to go by it. In most cases, today we don't have our priorities, or we are not living our own lives. Most people are living a life of someone else. It's more like, with the emergence of social media, there has been a very huge spike in cases of, depression, simply because everyone wants to live a better life after seeing who the other is. Of course, I'm not ruling out the fact that we all want to have a better life, but at times you get to realize that there is something you can have today, and then there's always something that is not going to come in the right way, or let's say that is going to come in the shortest period of time. And this is an issue where some of the young people have failed to understand that you will find a 22-year-old who wants to live a life of a 30-year-old. Now, in most cases, we have 22-year-olds who are very successful, given the matter of fact, the jobs they are having, or the businesses they are having, or the families they come from. Now, for you as an individual who's coming from rather a humble background, at times you may not live the same lifestyle as the other person who is coming from, let's say, a wealthy background, and he's got his connections or their connections on point. So if you try comparing yourself to the life of someone else and try to live a life you can't afford, then you're likely to get into some depression, because once you start failing at that particular life, then you will start blaming yourself.
Comparison is a killer of joy.
It's a killer of joy. So the comparison part is where I'm actually saying, let us first of all set our priorities right. That if at all you're still in school, concentrate on that. If at all you want to start up a business, start the business. Don't overlook at people who have already succeeded and plan to have your business succeed immediately. Try to go through the stages of that business. Try to make sure that you expand your business, I would say, or try to associate with people who will help you, and stop comparing yourself to the people. That is where I'm saying putting your priorities right. And then also creating a daily routine for yourself. Now, like Olive Monica has mentioned here, that at times people who are depressed, in most cases, tend to go off their daily routine. And it's because of, they feel drained by everything, and they feel like they just want to be alone. But you see, at times, if you want to find love in what you used to do back in the time, or in yourself, because one of the biggest ways to start fighting mental health issues is also finding love within yourself. Trying to, to do things for you before you even extend grace to others.
Yes.
So when you start doing things for you, waking up, eating healthy, having healthy exercises, or maybe, trying to put yourself into order. Also,
and keeping in touch with people.
Also, when you go back into your bedroom, how you organize your bed says a lot about how you appreciate or love yourself.
They normally, they usually say that is it your bedroom or your home? Yes. How it looks like shows how your mental health is at the moment.
So how you organize
it's actually
yourself
your environment.
Your environment.
Yes. It plays two ways. It shows how your mental health, where your mental health stands, but also it could affect your mental health. For example, walking into a very disorganized house is enough to disorganize you.
For me, if my environment is disorganized, I cannot perform. I can't do anything. I cannot sleep with a sink full of dishes. It's going to disorganize me. I will not sleep well. That is how I am made.
So you realize that our environments play a great deal when it comes to our mental health issues. Sonko, you are still delivering something in like a minute. I go through the comments.
And then also, I think the other is talking to friends or talking to a few family and friends really about certain issues about life. I know it is really hard for introverts. You know, if you ever get a chance to deal with an introvert, at times it's really hard. And it's because it is by nature that's how at times they operate, that they do not want to associate with so much people. They enjoy their space. But you get to realize that at times there are issues that would be better, or you will feel better if you share them with someone, so that you know that at least someone has heard something about you, or it has actually got off your heart. And in the long run, you will then realize that at least you're taking the rightful steps to end, you know, to put an end to the mental health issues. But in most, lastly, what I would actually say is starting to love and appreciate yourself for the efforts and as well for what you're doing, regardless of the age, and what you've actually been able to achieve in all your endeavors. In that way, you'll be fighting those inner spirits that are telling you you're not enough or you're not able to do anything. So it's supposed to start with us before we even start pushing it out there.
All right, thank you.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
When it comes to dealing with mental health, now this goes to the authorities, to the government. There has to be access to mental health. You know, there has to be access to mental health treatment. It has to be there. And of course, usually when you talk about mental health treatment, most people, especially back home here in Uganda, most people are of the view that it is expensive. So we need to find a way of making it cheaper and accessible to many people. But also there needs to be more awareness when it comes to mental health, because most people do not even know what mental health means, do not even know what depression means. For instance, you cannot miss work and tell your boss I was depressed. How? Because how do you measure depression? How? Because people understand when you're sick, you have a temperature, you're weak, you can't walk. So you cannot say, Mbo, I didn't come to work because I was depressed. Of course, there is another story of people who lately use mental health as a clutch.
An excuse.
And they say, oh, I was going through some things. They don't deliver their work in time because they were going through some things. Now, there are those people, but there are people that are genuinely going through mental health challenges. And these ones will need access to medical care, to treatment, and it has to be cheaper. And of course, we need to have more mental health facilities, because like here in Uganda, when you ask about mental health facilities, many people cannot even name 5. So that is where now, when it comes to authorities, to government and what it needs to do, that's what needs to be done.
Right. Thank you so much, Tim, for having this discussion with us. Well, I do have some comments just before we get into a break. Good morning, UBC. Some parents stress their young children, they mistreat them, and this is common with step-parents. And for the youth, just after campus, some parents stress you. They expect you to pay school fees for your siblings, which is much at times, and they don't care how much you get. And if you don't do that, they expect you to, they start cursing. And anytime they ask for money and you say, wait a bit, they don't understand. They just abuse. This stresses a lot. And he's even asking for advice. This must be something painful.
He actually says something about step-parents, but also I would like to say something brief about single parents. Because single moms especially go through too much, in most cases, it is now brought back to the children, the venting, the anger, and it in the long run affects your children.
Right. And then we have Joshua, who is watching from Abuja. Thank you so much for watching. Good morning, Chantal, Olive, and JP. Youths face mental health problems, mainly due to effects that come with age. It's at that age where people feel energetic, grown up, exposure to things like clubbing and alcohol and drugs, dating and cheating, which are the song of the day. Issues like abortion, STDs are common. Peer pressure mostly begins around that time. And people are starting to be unruly. This is why people feel like doing all the things they have never thought of doing. Oh, I mean, they've been restricted, so they do the things they want to do. So one good mistake can cause someone's life can put someone's life in danger that can affect them mentally and the rest of their lives. Way forward is simple. let youth be careful with life at that stage. This is Cricket Gagamel. Thank you so much for your comment. Good morning, Uganda. The topic mental health is wide. If people are to benefit, we would have to talk about personality disorders, anxiety, mood disorders, and all these ones. Well, we will definitely keep having these conversations. Then this is Max from Gulu. Says the causes are lack of basic needs, domestic violence between parents especially. This causes depression, bullying in schools. The remedies are parents should provide their children basic needs. They should also give them a listening ear. Well, so many comments coming in. Someone says, this is Okion Innocent. Most of the youth understand mentally ill people are the mad ones on the streets. So we need more awareness on this very issue. This is very well said. And with that comment, we are going to be closing this part of the show. Coming up is going to be a performance still. So make sure that you stay with us. Thank you for being part of the conversations. If you still want to share your views and comments, please do keep them coming on our WhatsApp number. Do not call. We'll be reading out some of these comments a little later. For now, let's get into a break. We'll be right back.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Amina gange ndetubona Kiranda Amina mu company eya WIB Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga tutuli bulungi nga abakyala abe wakawaka. Abakyala abe wakawaka tuwemera kuba ami baife nga bonkana abajamu nandanga twidi nti abakyala tebakozesa ki nanda. UN Women weyeida yatuteekateeka yatwegesa okulunda engege nga abakyala. Twatandika beno okudulunda n'okudirisa n'okolaki twafuna mu ng'abakyala ababujiri district. Abakyala ababujiri district sofa tuli abakyala 14 abakola project eya WIB. Abakyala 14 twayawula mu sectors. Mulimu abakyala ba production, abaliisa, mwaba abakyala ba validation, abongera engege omutindo bayongerako omutindo. Twaba n'abakyala ba harvesting, aba harvestinga. Twaba n'abakyala abakola aba marketing. Sector donna did trained era did chedikola ki chedikola. Project eno tufunye mu nga abakyala. Government yaife ne ya Uganda njebaza. Okuja kwe kujanga batulingirira mu nga abakyala abana Uganda. Eri kujanga etrobingira ebibiina bingi. We have UWeb, baleta parish development model. We have Myoga. Byona biri kwida muki mu bakyala. Oba mu bantu abaki aba Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too. Dial star 100 star 0 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 4 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 0 hash to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001. DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Uganda, it's once again Bonique. I'm gonna do a song called Smile For Me Uganda. It's a cover from a Jamaican, but I dedicate this to all Ugandans out there. Yeah, listen. Oh, oh na 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 na. Yeah. Say, oh, I met a girl this morning. She was love at first sight. Oh, I met a girl this morning. She was beauty to my eyes. She asked me where I'm from, Matola, from the tropics. She asked me what's my name, Matola, I am Bonique. And I say, girl, tell me what's your name. She tell me that her name is Uganda. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Uganda. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Uganda, wherever you cry. Here am I. I'm in for you, Uganda. Just dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Uganda. Again, ooh, I met a girl this morning. She was love at first sight. Ooh, I met a girl this morning. She was beauty to my eyes. I asked her where she from. She told me from the tropics. She asked me what's my name. I told her I am Bonnie. And I said, girl, tell me what's your name. She told me that her name is Uganda. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Uganda. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Whoa, 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 whoa. Smile for me, Uganda. Wherever you cry, it am I. Whoa, I'm here for you, Uganda. Just dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, she has a rich history, a beautiful moment with the sweetest gift, beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss, and a nice sunset in the evening season. But she told me that she's tired of exploiters and the liars. Oh, wherever you cry, here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Uganda. Just try your eyes, girl, smile, smile for me, Uganda. Smile, girl, smile. Yeah.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Amazina gange ndetibwa Nakiranda Amina mu company eya WIB Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga tutuli bulungi ng'abakyala ab'ewakawaka. Abakyala ab'ewakawaka tuwemerera ku baami baife nga bonkana abajjamu nanda nga twiddi nti abakyala tebakozesa ki nanda. UN Women weyeida yatuteekateeka yatwegesa okulunda engege ng'abakyala. Twatandika beeno okudulunda n'okudiriisa n'okola ki twafunamu ng'abakyala aba Bugiri district. Abakyala ba Bugiri district sofa tuli abakyala 14 abakola project eno eya WIB. Abakyala 14 twayawula mu sectors. Mulimu abakyala ba production, abaliisa, mwaba abakyala ba validation, abongera engege omutindo bayongerako omutindo. Twaba n'abakyala ba harvesting, aba harvestinga. Twaba n'abakyala abakola aba marketing. Sector donna diri trained era didi kyedikola ki kyedikola. Project eno tufunyemu ng'abakyala. Government yaife ne ya Uganda njebaza okujja kujanga batulingirira mu ng'abakyala abana Uganda. Eri kujanga eturobingira ebibiina bingi. We have UWEB, baleta parish development model. We have Myoga. Byonna biri kwida muki mu bakyala oba mu bantu abaki aba Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Morning, Uganda. Thank you for staying with us. It's time for us to check what do we have recommended for you this weekend as you are trying to get yourself ready to either stay in or maybe step out or try to find what you can do this weekend. So with me is a couple of movie recommendations and of course a book that you can read. So for now, let's take a look at some of the movies that we'll be recommending this weekend. Now, number one on the list is The Kill Room. This is a 2023 American dark comedy thriller and well, the art world meets the underworld when a money laundering scheme accidentally turns a hitman into an overnight avant-garde sensation. Now, in here, this particular film was announced in 2022 with Uma Thurman and Samuel L. Jackson, starring Jonathan Jacobson writing the screenplay. And on the screen is what we call the trailer. Take a look.
Should we be out there trying to make a sale?
Don't judge me. It helps with my anxiety.
Usually the drugs come out at the after party, not at the opening.
There's no one here but friends and deadbeats.
Any collectors coming?
Many have shown interest.
Any sales?
The gallery is going through some changes. My math sucks, but I know half of 0 is 0.
We're a team, right? We need to find a new way to deal with the money. I suggest art. This thing that looks like a Smurf wiped his ass with it can sell for $1 million. I give you the piece, and I give you the money for it, and everything will be clean.
I need something to sell.
I will call my guy, have him grab his brushes, and whip something up.
What's the artist's name?
Bagman.
The Bagman.
Haven't seen you at any of the events. Was under the impression the gallery wasn't doing well.
She just closed this deal on a painting from the Bagman.
At?
150,000.
That's crazy.
I'm starting to see why he has an appreciative audience yet remains under the radar.
Everybody wants one.
There's not a wait list because there's nothing to wait for. I'm not used to being told no.
Pleasure doing business with you.
I need another painting.
This thing's supposed to be a front. That means low profile.
He's a talented artist. And when you make big sales, you have the power to control the narrative.
You giving interviews today, Rembrandt?
I don't want anybody to know about me.
When you make art from a truthful place, people find out something. I'm a psycho.
Family.
Best internship ever.
He's not going to let you out of this.
Whatever happens, whatever anybody says, I'm just making art.
He's not going to let you out of this.
Whatever happens, whatever anybody says, I'm just making art.
The Kill Room is the movie that we are recommending if you love some thriller, if you love a little bit of action. Well, in that is what you're going to be finding. Well, away from that, we are also recommending The Burial, 2023 American legal drama film directed by Maggie Betts and written by Betts and Doug Wright. It is loosely based on the true story of lawyer Willie E. Gary and his client Jeremiah Joseph Okefe. This is a lawsuit against the Lowen Funeral Company, as documented in 1999 New Yorker article of the same name, Jonathan Harr. It stars Jamie Foxx as Gary, Tommy Lee Jones as Okefe, and Johnny Smollett as Momo and Bill. Look at the trailer.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how y'all doing? All of y'all that don't know who I am, my name is Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
Willie Gary.
William Gary.
Never heard of him. What's so special about this guy, anyway?
Litigation is war. It's a battle. Bam! And I'm not talking about no bullshit either. I'm talking about some Jean-Claude Van Damme ass-kicking shit.
Truth is, I may have gotten myself into a lot of trouble.
I've been your lawyer 30 years. We can find a way out of it.
You've never sued anybody before in your whole life.
This fella tried to bully me out of business, and I don't think I should be expected to stand for it.
Mr. Gary hasn't lost a case in over 12 years.
You suggesting I hire this guy as one of my lawyers?
Y'all come on in.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Gary. Let me introduce you to my Allred.
How do you feel about working with black folk?
I suppose I am a little prejudiced.
Did you meet my team?
I'm Chris.
Deshaun.
Reggie Douglas. Gentlemen.
He's suing us?
He's suing us? We are a $500 million corporation.
So, how much money y'all trying to get?
$8 million.
That ain't enough money. $100 million.
Who is this clown he's hired as a lawyer?
You're a fighter, man. What made you want to do it?
Because he tried to mess with the one thing that means the most to me in life, being